In our most extensive and controversial food review yet, Joe Edmeyer and I set out to find the best donut in Omaha. To keep things even, we just stuck to glazed donuts at each place. The first donuts we tried were from Spud Nuts, and they were very thick and doughy, but they lacked in flavor, earning them a 6 from both Joe and myself. At Olson's Bake Shop, the donuts were also very thick, but much lighter than Spud Nuts. They also had a bit of a cinnamon flavor, which we both enjoyed. Joe gave them an 8, and I gave them an 8.5. Lamars donuts were soft and fluffy, with perfect glaze distribution. Joe gave them an 8.5, and I gave them a 7.5. The mini donuts at Dapper Donut had a very fried taste, but were still light and airy and tasted fresh. Both Joe and I gave them an 8. Despite apparently being fresh, Dunkin's donuts were cold and had an off-putting sliminess to them. Joe gave them a 5.5, while I gave them a 5. While Hertz does have some amazing specialty donuts, their glazed donuts were nothing special. Joe gave them a 7.5, and I gave them a 7. The fresh baked donuts for Sunrise were sneakily good. Joe gave them an 8.5, and I gave them an 8. At Winchells, the donuts had a nice hint of sweetness in the dough. The glaze, however, had an unfortunate crumbly texture. Both Joe and I gave them a 7.5. Krispy Kreme's donuts had the perfect taste and texture. Our only complaint was the small size. Joe gave them a 9.5, and I gave them a 9. Overall, it was a very enjoyable search. With the exception of Dunkin', we would eat at all of these places again. Krispy Kreme, though, was the clear winner and definitely deserves the title of the best glazed donut in Omaha. This has been Joe Edmeyer and Evan Vaslow for the MWHS Wildcat News.